Coming up on Mountain News this morning, both candidates for governor are out and about looking to secure last-minute votes before the election. And 2 men were arrested yesterday after leading police on a chase through 2 states.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. The time is 6:31 on November 1st. Now let's check in with Chief Forecaster Brandon Robinson for a look at your forecast this morning. And Brandon, we've talked about that cold, and I want to tell people not to forget their coat, but I have a feeling they won't get too far out the door because they're going to want it.
Yeah, exactly. I think if you open the door, you'll realize, oh, maybe I should grab that. And I've got, my wife is getting ready to head out the door this morning in short sleeves. I'm like, go put you a jacket on. All right, let's get into that and talk about how cold it is out there this morning. We start with the Hazard Studios outside WYMT, and it is in the 30s out there as we start the day. Okay, she's got a sweatshirt. We're in good shape here as we start our day off. We're going to go on to some other temperatures there. It is in the 20s and 30s across parts of the region this morning as we head to the first part of your day. It's 32 Harlan, Middlesboro, and 34 in Ashland. 30 in Hazard, 30 in Pikeville, as we mentioned, upper 20s in a lot of locations there, but 23 Irvin, 25 in Wise, and 25 in Manchester and Williamsburg. Region-wide, 19 degrees in Springfield, Missouri. We're getting ready for the winter chill, at least briefly. We're going to see some warmer air surge back in. Warmest spot in the entire region, 48 down at Myrtle Beach as we start your day off. All right, today's breakdown. We're looking at around 44 for us, sunny skies, but that's not going to help us out too much. We're going to see dry conditions, but it's still going to be cool in that post-cold front that just moved through last night. Olivia?
Brandon, thank you. A state audit of a county clerk's financial practices found several accounting and bookkeeping errors. In a release from State Auditor Mike Harmon's office, Estill County Clerk Brian Crow overspent available funds, failed to segregate duties, and there was also significant monetary miscalculations, among other issues. The audit is being referred to the Department of Local Government for further review. 2 people are in jail and an Ohio woman is safe after an abduction yesterday morning. It started in a city about 50 miles away from Cleveland and ended in Madison County. A witness tried to stop it, then that person was shot at. Then after that, the chase was on. The driver, 29-year-old Anthony Grinnell, was arrested and the kidnapping victim was found safe. A passenger, 27-year-old William Tate, was also charged. The woman had some minor injuries, but is expected to be okay. 2 men are facing charges for their role in a theft case in McCreary County. It happened Monday in the Pine Knot community. Sheriff's deputies responded to a complaint about a generator and air compressor being stolen from a job site. After an investigation, Ronnie Ellis and Aaron Chambers were found and taken into custody. They were taken to the Knox County Detention Center. Police say the stolen items were recovered and returned to their owner. We now know the funeral arrangements for a firefighter killed in a crash this past weekend. The visitation for Lieutenant Regina Huffman will take place tomorrow starting at 7 p.m. at the Walker Funeral Home Chapel in Hyden. Her funeral will be on Friday at 1 p.m. also at the funeral home. Huffman served the Coon Creek Volunteer Fire Department in Leslie County. She was 39 years old. We are now less than a week away from Election Day, and for the last 2 days, both gubernatorial candidates have made campaign stops in the mountains. Yesterday, Attorney General and GOP candidate for Governor Daniel Cameron was in Pikeville, London, and Hazard. I was at his stop in Hazard and talked with him and some of his Republican Party supporters about why he is the right man for the job. Tuesday was day 2 of Attorney General and Republican candidate for Governor Daniel Cameron's Fight for Kentucky bus tour, assuring his supporters that he is the right fit for Kentucky.
It's because I'm going to reflect the values of the men, women, and children of all 120 counties. And You know, it's important to have a governor who stands with you in a crisis, whether that's flooding or tornadoes in the West, but you need a governor that's going to stand with you every single day of the year.
With a slew of supporters at the Big Blue Smokehouse in Hazard, Cameron addressed the room and once again touched on his plans to eliminate the state's income tax.
It is harder to buy groceries, it's harder to buy gas, your utility bills going up, so the responsible thing to do is to have a governor that wants to put more money back in your pocket. And that's what we'll do when we eliminate Kentucky's income tax.
Some Republican lawmakers were in the room showing their support. Senator Brandon Smith says he feels Cameron will do what is right for Eastern Kentucky and believes more needs to be done after last year's flood.
We should have put this money on the ground much sooner, and it's just not happened. And now we're going to be 27 degrees tonight, and I will tell you what I will be thinking about. Those families out there that I feel like got let down by this administration.
And Congressman Hal Rogers says he also stands with Cameron.
I thought it was important for me to let everyone know where I stand. He will work. That's his record. He's smart, he's articulate, and he knows how to fight for Kentucky.
Governor Andy Beshear is also making stops across the state as part of his Go Vote tour. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox talked to Beshear about his message to Eastern Kentuckians and heard from some folks about why they are voting for him.
Beshear was welcomed by a crowd packed into a building in downtown Hazard. He was joined by Senior Advisor Rocky Adkins, wife Brittany, and fellow Democrats running for state offices.
The people of this region have seen me time and time again, and we are going to get this done.
Beshear spoke about accomplishments through the last 4 years. One of his main points was helping revitalize the region after the July 2022 flood.
I care about each and every one of these families and our chance to do more than rebuild, but really to revitalize, to build entire new neighborhoods and to bring hundreds upon hundreds of new jobs.
For some folks, that is a big reason they are supporting the governor in his re-election campaign.
He or Rocky or somebody from his administration has been here pretty much every week doing something related to flood relief.
Small business owner Mandy Scheffel voiced a similar compliment, along with saying his presence is always welcoming.
He's very personable, yeah, and relatable, and I like that about him. He's approachable. Anytime that I've been in a space where he gives that.
Beshear urged supporters to knock on doors and get others out to vote as he looks to be in office for another 4 years. In Hazard, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
Beshear will have a few more stops in the mountains before Election Day, including Prestonsburg and Pikeville. It has been 4 years since Governor Andy Beshear and Attorney General Daniel Cameron were sworn into office. Cameron earned the Republican nomination for Attorney General with 53% of the vote back in the 2019 May primary. He later made history in November, becoming the first Republican AG in more than 70 years to be elected to a statewide office. At the time, his campaign website promised to depoliticize the office and enhance the AG's presence outside of Frankfort.
Who was going to get back to the bread and butter basics of being the chief law enforcement officer in defending and enforcing the laws that are passed by the General Assembly and signed by the governor.
In 2019, Cameron would replace outgoing Attorney General Andy Beshear. Beshear took his party's nomination in May. His opponent, Rocky Adkins, became his senior advisor when Beshear narrowly beat incumbent Governor Matt Bevin in the general election later that year. Beshear's platform focused heavily on bolstering education and health care reform.
After tonight, we move forward with every other Kentucky citizen as Team Kentucky.
Political scientists say the two have used the ascension in their careers and visibility to pave a path in politics moving forward. Again, Election Day is less than a week away. In-person, no excuse absentee voting runs from this Thursday through Saturday from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Election Day is Tuesday, November 7th. Polls will be open on Election Day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
641, we are looking at the camera network where things are pretty calm, a little on the colder side out there this morning, but dry. That is the main consensus there. A few clouds still out there in the eastern counties, but those are on their way out. Temperatures basically are still on the way down. Irvin down to 22 this morning. On the other end of the scale, 32 Harlan, 34 in Ashland. 12-hour planner for today. It's going to be a slow climb, and it's not going to get too far. Mid-40s, low 40s out there this afternoon. Sunset tonight, 6:35. Sunrise almost 8 o'clock this morning. So again, we're going to see those days continue to get shorter all the way for about 50 more days until we hit that winter solstice. Yep, that's 50 days away, by the way. And of course, we're going to see the time change this weekend, and we'll fall back an hour. So that means it'll get daylight a little earlier, but darker a little earlier as well. Olivia?
Thanks, Brandon, and thank you for joining us. The time is now 6:42. Still to come on Mountain News this morning. As the violence in Israel continues, it starts to raise questions and threats at home.